Maurice, Drayton right there. And man, we have the same fashion choice.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out good. It's glad to be back home.
Yeah, man, it is. It's good to be back here. And, of course, Beyond the Barracks has been an abbreviated version the last couple of weeks prior to Citadel basketball games. So it's good to be back here where we normally are, and it's great to see all of our friends at Over the Horizon Brewing. It was a tough Saturday for a lot of reasons. Obviously, there were things that you looked to accomplish that didn't get done. It was a frustrating outcome that you guys had some opportunities in. General reflections, what do you think when you first look back?
Yeah, it was a very disappointing loss. We fell short of our standard that we expect at the Citadel. As a staff, we took a hard look at the film. We're owning our areas where we have to be better.
Right.
Our players understand that as well. The response this week in practice will be critical as to how we play on Saturday coming. But I fully expect for us to attack the challenge. We're going to attack the challenge with humility, with toughness, with purpose,
right,
and a blue-collar work ethic.
The one thing about this group that's been a little head-scratching is, boy, they do appear always, upbeat, excited to be out there and fired up and all that stuff, but it's like it just takes a while to get the engine running sometimes, and that's a head-scratcher.
It is a head-scratcher, and we have tried many different ways to dissect how we can create these fast starts, from our itineraries to food, what we're eating, to what we're wearing. You name it, we've tried it, and guess what? We're going to keep trying it until we get this thing figured out.
Absolutely. Who are your most vocal guys on the field? That offensively, I guess, in particular, your quarterbacks would have to be, obviously, but who are your vocal guys out there that lead that way?
Yeah, right now it's on offense is Mike Bartolucci.
Right.
Truth be told, our quarterbacks are very soft-spoken individuals.
Okay.
So we have to bring that out of them. We need for them to be more vocal. But Mike Bartolucci does a great job from that standpoint. Javante Graves Billups, he's a vocal leader as well. But those will be the two on offense. And on defense, Jamazon Roberts and Chris Iverson.
Right. On the plus side of this, you gave up some plays here and there, but your defense, by and large, kept you in this game. Where they had some opportunities, even where they got that botched the punt return situation, where they got that turnover down there, where you had gotten them stopped and had the momentum. That was a tough deal, but your defense went out there and got it done. Yeah,
defense played well. They were 2 of 13 on third down.
Right.
That's 15%. So you can win with that. They only gave up 6 yards per pass. We had 5 total 3-and-outs and a 1 4-and-out on defense. But if you would talk to any of our defensive coaches, they would tell you it still wasn't good enough.
Right.
Because we didn't get the stop when we needed it.
Right. That's true. Well, that's the only way you can look at it.
Yeah.
It's a 4-quarter game. The one thing you can do a lot of things in this day and age. We have all these analytics, we got all this technology, we got all this stuff, but you still have to work at, it's still a mental thing to kind of manufacture urgency, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
You talked about it at the half, is why I bring it up.
Yeah, so, no, you're absolutely correct. So, self-starters, right? Those are the kind of individuals that we want. We have, and I said this early in the year, we have some really, really good young men. And they almost have to be slapped in the face before they get going, instead of saying, hey, I'm coming out of the blocks and I'm going to kick some butt, right?
It's more like the classic counter puncher.
Exactly.
The only problem with being a counter puncher is if the dude hits you hard enough the first time, you might not get your shot at
Exactly. Now, and I'm serious. We're lightheartedly joking about it. But what I told the team at halftime, I said, you think you have time. The biggest myth in life is that we have time. That's the biggest myth in life. The time is now. We have to be in the moment now. We have to react now. I felt like it jump-started us, but they learned a valuable lesson. It was too little, too late.
Right. Sometimes I think when you're that age, you don't realize that every one of these games is the last opportunity you'll have to play that game, and then the next one, and then they dwindle, and eventually you don't have any of them left.
No, you're absolutely correct, and then you're an old man like me and like some of the people in the crowd, and you spend the rest of your life chasing the locker room, chasing that locker room feel, chasing that camaraderie, chasing that high five and that celebration after a game.
The adrenaline and the exhilaration of what happens, during the game.
Oh, absolutely. It's nothing like it, the ebbs and flows of a game, but we just want to end on the good side of it, right?
Right. So when you look back at this, what kind of what individual efforts and performances stood out for you?
Well, I mean, you can always look to James Platt. He's doing
Even
a fantastic
one-for-one
job.
throwing the ball, too.
Yeah, 1-for-1 throwing the ball. He did a great job there. Platt average right now, he averages 46.17 yards per punt. That's good for 5 in all of FCS and number 2 in the SoCon. And then individual-wise, Quentin had a good day as well. He had that interception at the end. Of course, we wanted the storybook ending where it was a walk-off touchdown, or maybe even, get in field goal range and let Ben redeem himself.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. The football gods, the football angels, they didn't see fit.
The thing, too, is I was talking with the guys when I was here setting up this afternoon. You never blame these things, but it was a head-scratcher for me. So this is the penalty now. This is going to be the false start where it looked to us, and we're calling it looked to us like a defensive player jumped across into the neutral zone, and it caused the offensive lineman to flinch, which is an encroachment and generally an offsides penalty. Have you gotten the apology letter from the league yet on that?
No, we actually didn't turn that one in.
Okay.
It's to the point now.
It was a critical time, man.
It was. But what the official told me immediately was that he felt like the defender did not go into the neutral zone.
Oh, okay.
And in order for us to get that call, the defender has to go into the neutral zone.
I mean, obviously, he's a lot closer to it than we are. And we're a little bit biased, too.
We are very biased.
But
I did not turn that one in.
Well, that's one of those, too, that in the course of a game, it's one of those things, a false start will happen here, but boy, what a critical time to have it, just because. And it turns out that it happens at a point where you're in a third, fourth down, and now you're in a lower percent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Big call.
Yeah, it was very critical for us. But we have to be able to overcome those things, and we weren't able to. So.
Homecoming crowd was fantastic, like it always is.
It was a great crowd. One of the things I would like to do next season for homecoming and maybe even Parents' Day, I would like to take our team and put us on the visitor side so we can look at all our fans and look at our supporters and maybe we can draw from that inspiration of a crowd, cheering us on. Plus, their opponent or our opponent will be over there on that side so they can hear some of those boos a little bit louder.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm looking up some info on a couple of things I'll ask you about. We get into talk about ETSU in the last segment of the show, but we got some cool things coming up for you tonight. Zane Vance will come up here and we'll talk about linebackers and bandits and all kinds of fun stuff like that. That's always a fun listen. And we'll also bring Gary Mateer up here, and we'll talk a little bit about the guy behind the equipment. I mean, he's going to have some insight on those camo jerseys and some of the really cool stuff, uniforms-wise. Hey, this. I mean, uniforms have become a big deal now. I mean, I know they always have been, but now you got all these variations. It's a big recruiting tool, isn't it?
I'm really excited about our two guests. Coach Zane Vance, I call him the Minister of Mayhem, the Doctor of Defense. He's been doing it a long time, and he's wise. And I love just sitting in front of him and listening to him talk because he's going to drop some nuggets on you.
Right.
And so it's always good to have. And then Gary, I can't say enough about Gary. He is, when he goes to the lab and he creates these combinations and creates these different outfits to wear, I tell you, the young men really love it. We just got to get everybody else on board.
That's a 1 o'clock game up there at ETSU, isn't it? I didn't realize that. I was sitting here telling people it was at 2. No, I mean, I didn't do it on the air. I was telling friends it says at 2 o'clock.
Not a problem.
But 1 o'clock kickoff at East Tennessee State, which, by the way, just in time for when the Dogs come into their place, are playing their best football right now.
Yeah.
So you're going to have your hands full, and we'll get into that a little bit more, after a bit. But obviously, just a surface question here as we wrap this first segment. It's good. You're going to have your hands full. Getting that fifth win is not going to be that's going to be a tough thing to do up there.
Yeah, very tough. They just beat a red-hot Western Carolina football team, and they scored a lot of points doing it. Their atmosphere to play up there is tough, but we've also shown that we play pretty good in unique atmospheres on the road, this 2025 team. So we're hoping we can lean back on that experience and bring home a W.
No doubt about it. You'd like to get another conference win, too, to close the season out. And you just want to feel like you've taken a step forward. I honestly believe, regardless, because of the way the schedule's stacked up, I believe regardless, you have a better football team this year, but you'd really like to close it, too, on a high note with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I said it at the beginning of the year that this team is a good football team and it's a better football team than what we had previously, but we may not have a better record.
Right.
Said it at the beginning of the year just because of the state of college football and our schedule, things of that nature. But we're going to find a way to get this win. It'll take us to 4-4 in the conference, which would be an improvement from last year.
Right.
The overall record would be the same, 5-7, but to get that 4th win in conference, and guess what? You ready for this?
I'm ready.
We win this ball game, there could possibly be a 5-way tie for 3rd place.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Well,
yes. We could finish. We could finish 3rd in the conference.
There were already a lot of reasons to have it. Now we've got to have it, right?
Yes, got to have it.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit more in the final segment of the program. This is Beyond the Barracks, presented as always by Cutwater Spirits and presented from, most of the time, Over the Horizon Brewing, unless we have a basketball game on Monday.
Yes.
And we're running out of these as the season is winding down. Of course, we'll have some version as we move forward once the new year starts for basketball and this and that. But, yeah, we're running low on these, so you got to cherish them, right?
Yeah, got to cherish it. Yeah. Be where your feet are.
All right, be where your feet are. Great advice, man. All right, Brian Giffen right here, Maurice Drayton right there, and we are live from Over the Horizon Brewing here at 2200 Harriet Street, near downtown Charleston, right off I-26, right off Rutledge Avenue. Still got 45 minutes of talking ball here. Stop by and hang out with us. Back with more after this on the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. And we're back with more Beyond the Barracks, and we're doing it live, as we generally do, at Over the Horizon Brewing during football season, 2200 Harriet Street. And Over the Horizon Brewing, I mean, this is our football home for Beyond the Barracks. Our guest now, Zane Vance, linebackers coach. What else? You are also, what else you got going, man? You got all kinds of titles. You've been doing this so long.
A year or two, yes, sir. Primarily game day management.
That's right.
Coach Drayton utilizes myself and Coach Coaxum to talk through scenarios that may come up. You know,
kind of like a bench coach would do, sort of in baseball. And Greg Dixon is here too, defensive line coach, and one of defensive line coaches. And yeah, man, it's good to have you guys here. I was talking to Coach Drayton about it. I mean, obviously a very frustrating game Saturday in terms of outcome, but you guys as a unit did a pretty good job. Now, Coach made the point, he's right. I mean, you gave up a scoring drive when you didn't want to, but you also kind of held the rope a lot of times where the game could have been a lot worse.
Yes, sir. Very pleased with how hard the kids played, and really any score is going to come down to to what you described, because we're not really anxious to give up any of them, and
that's right.
We would like to have 2 or 3 particular snaps back for sure, because we knew it was going to be that kind of game. That's Wofford's played that game all year. They've played those tight one possession, this is going to decide it kind of games. But you're correct. We had, I believe, 3 3-and-outs to close the game. I was looking today. They ran 9 plays and gained 13 yards. And that's our job, is to get the ball back. And real pleased we could do that.
Honestly, I mean, it was a huge lift that when you guys had the special teams play the muff punt situation where that got away, defense went out there and slammed the door. I mean, they were in a position right there to add on.
Yes, sir.
And you had gotten an important stop just before that, too.
Yes, sir. Well, that's one of the things that, Coach Drayton does a really solid job of. We play situational football all the time.
Right.
And I believe last week, Greg, you might remember, we did that particular drill. We didn't say we just turned the ball over. We just put it down on like the plus 35.
Right.
And said, all right, we're driving from here. So, yes, that means that's not the first time that we've been in that situation. We do that quite a bit in practice. Yeah.
Greg, I'd love to get your thoughts on the unit that you have. The defensive line. Coach was talking about vocal leaders on the team. Chris Iverson is one name that came up. I got to tell both you guys too how much I enjoy watching Mikey Rosa play. You talk about a motor. You can see that motor all the way upstairs.
Yeah, he's got bad intentions, and I appreciate it.
Right. And you have to have that sometimes. You have to have it on the football field, right?
Absolutely.
Because the other guy's going to have it. But talk a little about the way that unit is played. I mean, obviously you take on big offensive lines. You guys bigger even than most years. Where you take on North Dakota State, you take on Mississippi. I mean, just thoughts on that unit, how they've held up, and the job they've done.
Yes, sir. I mean, up front, the job Coach Pinnell and Coach Gio has done with the front three, the end, nose, and tackles between Chris and Josh Cole and Carson Arnold and Jordan Marks. You can't say enough about what these guys bring to that defense up front, their physicality, not only just kind of how they are off the field, commanding with a commanding presence, but their actions and the way they play through. And then, in the bandit position, Jeremiah Holmes has kind of stepped up into a position where, we had a guy jump out and, his next man up mentality, and he's done a good job to try to kind of anchor that weak side edge down.
I got to say, I mean, in the 3 years, this being near the end now, my third football season, in the state of the game these days, where rosters change so much, most places, it's been a tremendous amount of fun to watch how such a core of this group that now are upperclassmen on this team have developed in the 3 years I've been. I mean, I came here for the 0-11 year, and we all remember it's a tough year, but you're going to have tough years. But just to see the growth of these guys and the development of them, not only as football players, but to see what they're turning into as men too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just in the nose position itself, we talk about the improvement Jordan Marks has made since his maturation coming here to the Citadel, what he's done to get his body right, to be a productive player, and now, to go into the professional world with a ring. And so, just can't wait to see the opportunities these guys kind of get. Yeah,
and it's one of the things that's cool about the Citadel, and I guess it happens at a lot of schools, but the support of programs across the department. In other words, I see a number of football players once the season's over that'll come to basketball games and vice versa, things like that. And that's a great thing. I think that's one of the great things about there's a bond at the Citadel that's a little bit unique, I think, compared to most places. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's a big pitch in the recruiting arena for us is, hey, come here for 4 to get 40 years of your professional development. I mean, there's not a whole lot of places that I can think of, and I think it's a lot of it maybe because it kind of carries that esprit de corps that the military kind of sees some of those correlations between each, and the Citadel's no different there. I mean, it's a take care of their own type institution. I
got to ask you, Zane. I mean, you've been doing this a long time, as we talked about. What do you think is the biggest key to go to ETSU and get this fifth win? We've got to get this fifth win, right? We've got to have that five-way tie for third that Coach was talking about.
Yes, sir. I don't believe you have to invent anything. I believe that we have to go and excel at what has helped us to play good defense when we've played it. And we've had a number of games this year that I left the arena feeling like, we played up to standard today.
Right.
Our job is to give our team a chance to win, because if we play poorly, it just gets away from everybody, right? But to answer your question, the same level of violence that we were willing to play with against Wofford, the same level of violence we're willing to play against Chattanooga and some of the teams that we played. This is a really good football team that we're going to play, and they're not going to feel the least bit sorry for us.
Sure.
And they're saying goodbye to their seniors as well. So as I tell our players a lot, it won't be the team that hits the hardest that wins. It'll be the team that hits the hardest the longest.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
I got to tell you, two of the more rewarding experiences of this season, and there are always a ton of them in every season, even tough ones, but we're winning games at Sanford, winning games at Chattanooga. Let's go crown this thing by winning at ETSU. You know it's in there.
Well, you don't have to ask me but once because, number one, I played there.
Right.
And number two, my son's the wide receiver coach there.
Yeah.
So somebody's not going to be at my house for Thanksgiving. It's either going to be him or me. So
I love that. It is funny you say that because coaching is kind of a big fraternity. Football, college athletics is a big fraternity among coaches and stuff like that. I think you were at Charleston Southern when I was at Kennesaw State, if I remember right.
Absolutely. I was listening to your show, the Owl's Nest or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Inside the Nest.
Inside the Nest, yeah. We were stuck in Atlanta traffic, imagine that. And I was listening to that, and I remember telling you, I was thinking, wow, this guy's got a voice made for radio. In my case, I've got a face made for radio, but I just remember thinking, this guy'd be great for the Atlanta Braves. And then I meet you, and it's like, yeah, I work for the Braves. So I was like, there you go.
Yeah, it's one of those. But honestly, though, the game has changed so much, over the course. But there is a thing, and I know it affects everybody, but the retention at the Citadel has been impressive. You don't see that everywhere, and that speaks to that culture and that bond thing. I think some of it, you're going to lose some players occasionally, I think, and more probably as time goes on just because of what the sport has become. But the fact that the retention, the fact that guys stick around and want to play there, that means a lot.
Well, Dick Vermeil said a long time ago that, to paraphrase, that, if you don't invest much, then losing doesn't hurt very much, and winning's not very important. And so you flip that around. These guys make a tremendous investment here. And Coach Raleigh Jackson mentioned it today as we were talking about some guys that are approaching, the twilight of their career. And he made the comment. What he said, Greg, he said once that ring gets in sight, it's really hard to leave. And so we were having the same discussions in our office today.
Yeah, and great points all. We got a couple of minutes here. Greg, I'll start with you. ETSU offensively, what do they do that is going to be problematic for your unit in particular?
Well, they got some big, thick running backs. So first off, Coach Covington's up there now. He spent 2 years here with Coach Drayton, and we know what they like to do. They're going to try to fire off that ball and get downhill on us. And so stopping the run is always an integral part right there. As long as we can kind of be physical and violent with these guys, and set the tone early, take the ball away.
This is by the way, these are the only two teams in the conference, I guess, that are averaging over 200 yards rushing as a team per game. So that could be a real theme on Saturday, correct?
Absolutely. That at the end of that game, there's going to be one team that would like to play one more quarter, and there's going to be one team that's going to be really glad just to pack it in and call it a year. And that is, imperative that we're that team that wants to play one more quarter.
Since we're, on the verge of the last game here, you guys are defensive coaches, I'd just like to get your thoughts on a few of the guys that had, Cale Williams for one, that's had a really, really good career here at one of those vocal leaders. Bradley Jones is another one that's been so much fun to watch develop. And those two guys on the defensive side, along with the Chris Iversons, Jordan Marks that you alluded to a little bit earlier, a lot of those guys, how many of those are you going to keep? How many of those will you get back now with all the eligibility things and all that? How many of your guys that are regulars on your defense will be back, or eligibility-wise be back?
We want all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say
ones that are eligible, that is.
Yeah,
how many are eligible, I guess, first?
Well, we lose a sizable number.
Right.
Greg, we lose three up front.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And we lose 4 linebackers.
2 safeties.
2 safeties.
Right.
And that's just to coin your word there, the maturation of what happens. You graduate, you move on.
Yeah.
A guy like Cale, seems like every time I look up, Cale is making a tackle.
Oh man, no kidding.
And it's hard to replace guys like that. But yeah, we don't plan. We don't have contingency plans for if this guy moves, leaves, quits, whatever. We assume that we're full speed ahead, and then improvise, adapt, and overcome if that rears its head. But we're trying to recruit our own again. That's probably where the game's changed the most. Is used to once they're here, you coach them hard, you love them up, but really you turn your attention to the high school ranks and get ready to try to draw them in. Well, you got to re-recruit your own now.
No different. It's all different than it ever used to be. Yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming over and hanging out. Next, we're going to talk uniforms and equipment and stuff with Gary Mateer for a few minutes. Then Coach will come up here and we'll preview the ETSU game, and that will prepare us, I guess, for the last game of the season. Hard to believe it's gone by this fast, huh?
I've told several people this is the quickest football season. This is my 40th one.
Yeah.
And this is the quickest one I ever remember.
I got to be honest, this is one of the faster years I can remember for whatever reason. Anyway, guys, thanks a bunch. That is Zane Vance and also Greg Dixon.
Thank you.
So you are the game management, give me that again.
Yeah, it's coordinate game management with Tony Coaxum for, do we fake it here? Do we go for 2 here? Do we burn a timeout here? Coach generously asks for that input on game day, and when he asks, he gets it.
Linebackers, bandits, defense. That's my guy's area. And then, of course, Greg Dixon right here. Guys, we appreciate it a great deal. This is Beyond the Barracks. We're live tonight at Over the Horizon Brewing, and Beyond the Barracks is presented by Cutwater Spirits. Back with more after this. You're listening to the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. And we're back on Beyond the Barracks as we wind our way through the second to last? Well, this is the last one, I guess, for a little bit until we start doing them a little bit later on as the sports season moves along. But our guest is Gary Mateer, who's the equipment manager for football, I guess, or are you over all of it?
I'm the director of operations.
Yeah, so you basically are the guy that coordinates. Well, let me phrase it this way. So when people watch a football game, they don't realize how much goes on behind the scenes to get those teams ready for the game and to, the cool uniform, all that stuff.
Right.
And what's a typical game day like for you?
So basically,
or a game week, I guess I should say.
Well, it starts on Tuesday. We get the roster, and we got to pull the uniforms. And Monday I sit with Coach, and we decide what we're going to wear for the week.
Right.
Every week's a different combination, and we were fortunate this year to have an alternative jersey where I think we didn't even wear the same jersey all season.
Right.
Because we had so many different combinations. You know, and it's a collective.
Right.
You know.
So, like when so the camo jersey, for example, who conceptualized? Where did that come from? Whose idea was that?
So
You get some behind the scenes stuff.
So basically, the camo jersey was a development of getting denied a couple other uniform combinations.
Okay.
As far as we wanted to go to a black jersey with the Citadel blue accents, and then I said, we're not going to do. A couple years ago, they tried to do a green camo. It didn't seem to work because it wasn't our colors, right? I understand we're a military school, but at the end of the day, we have specific colors that we have to abide by, and we can't just throw stuff out there. We have like licensing and all that stuff. So I tried to stay within the parameters of our colors.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? This black's not going to work. I even tried a gray uniform that matched like the cadets' uniform, like the dress uniform.
Right.
That one got denied. So, there's a lot of other people that are involved in my decision making as far as creating uniforms. But at the end of the day, it starts with me creating something, bringing it to the head coach. The head coach looks at it and decides whether or not he likes it or not, and then we bring it up the chain of command and figure out, like, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is not what we're going to do. So it took me 10 times trying to get that camo jersey approved.
Persistent guy, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right.
and
You really wanted them, man.
I did.
And they were
I
cool
mean,
too.
It wasn't just me that wanted them.
Right.
I mean, I'm from a military family. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I want to support the military as much as we can.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, that this represents, my history as far as being a military kid.
Yeah.
And the kids, and the funny part about that jersey was it went through 3 different designs, and finally we got it approved. And there were, I'm not gonna lie, there was some athletes, some players that like, we don't really like it. It kind of looks like trash. And then once we get to the field, right, and they wear it, and they're like, you know what? They came over to me later and they're like, gee, this is fire.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to apologize to you because we didn't like them at first, but these are really nice. And then with Andy Clausen, who's been a Citadel for 50 years, says to me, Gary, you know what? When we looked at that on the mannequin, it was not good. He goes, but we're out here playing this game. Man, it really looks good. So that, to me, to a guy, to a guy who's been at this program for 50 years and has been through a ton of changes.
You'll say he's seen some uniform
combos
combos now.
And we don't want to go backwards, right?
Right.
So like, I mean, I've got some stuff back there in the equipment room that's probably since 1975.
That's awesome.
Like flannel.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to wear that in South Carolina with 90
I've only
weather?
seen it in trophy cases these days.
So I have some stuff back there that we need to get rid of. But, so, I mean, it's a frustrating job, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's what I like to do. So when I create something and it ends up on the FCS, untapped
cool uniform or whatever.
Yeah, I got a number 1, I got a number 2, and a number 3 for having the best uniform of the week. And that right there, we don't get a lot of pats on the back.
Right.
So every once in a while, it's nice to see somebody appreciating you actually job. Because we don't get enough time to appreciate what we do.
Well, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you zip from one thing to the next.
Yeah, so like with the logistics and everything that we have to deal with, and I have tremendous students that they go above and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they've helped me considerably, especially this where I had the Boston, Mississippi thing going a couple of weeks. They were very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were like, once we set a plan and a logistics schedule together, these guys are on it. Like, they're there. From the time we start on, loading the truck on Thursday night after practice to, they don't go back to the barracks till 10:30 when
Right.
they have to.
Yeah,
Then-
they've got that regular cadet schedule to
Yeah,
keep too, by
right,
the way.
absolutely,
In addition
you
to
know.
all of this.
And then, you know, they're in the next day on Friday before we leave to go to, you know, we're driving, you know, 6-7 hours. At 7 a.m. we got to be there, you know, and we head out to wherever we need to go. And
Right.
and then we get to, like, say, this week we're going to ETSU, right? So we'll end up leaving at 7 a.m. We'll get there. We'll set up the locker room, you know, about 4 o'clock. They'll be done by 8, you know. And then, you know, we get breakfast, lunch, and then hardly any dinner because we're always, like, working.
Right.
And then Saturday morning, we always try to get there 6 hours before the game. So
Right.
the game's at 1, so, you know, we'll be there early.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys are rock stars, man. I could not do this job if it wasn't for every single one of my student managers.
Yeah.
And they're dedicated. They're hardworking. I mean, it's a family. I have a
Right.
family atmosphere, right? I always tell my head student manager, which his name is Barrett Thompson, he's the son I never wanted,
Ah.
right? Because
Yeah.
he has my personality,
Okay.
but he's a type A,
Right.
you know? So, like, when I know, like, he's going to do it, it's going to get done, right? To
Yeah.
a different level.
Yeah, man, that's that's critical as a leader. You got to
yes.
have that.
And you-
So, well, I got about 2 minutes before we have
Yeah.
to hit our break, but
Sorry.
I got no. You're fine, man. You're crushing this.
Thank you.
But I have to know. So, just your thoughts as uniforms have become so prominent, and as Coach and I talked, such a part of recruiting and all. You've got to have some cool in there to attract players, right?
Yes.
It helps.
It's not just the uniforms now.
Right, no, of
Not like-
course.
so when these guys recruit, right, I keep trying to tell them because they have a different mindset. Bring them to me so I can show them what kind of gear we're going to get.
Right.
Because this will open their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to get this. We're going to get this.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere I've ever been, the more stuff you throw on that table and
Oh,
show
yeah.
these kids, the more they're going to be like, you know what? Okay, this
Yeah.
guy cares about us.
Right.
These are the relationship buildings that I make with our athletes.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to come talk to me before they talk to their coaches because of the relationship that I built with
In
them.
the day-to-day, too.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like, oh, yeah, he's going to take care of us. He's going to give us everything we need or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong. I tell them no all the
Right, no, I
time.
get it.
Because they're needy. But, again, you know, it's the generations getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
So
I've never known either an equipment manager or a travel coordinator that haven't at times been a little bit salty because they just have to deal with so much.
a little bit
You know
salty.
what? Just
yeah.
because. I mean, just because you have to deal with so much.
A little bit salty.
Even
is
in
a little
Major League
different.
Baseball now, it's no different. Even with these
Right.
grown-up
No,
guys
no.
are making 30 million. Heck, it's worse with the ones making
Yeah,
that kind of money.
I appreciate you downplaying a little bit salty
Right.
because I'm 100% salty.
Oh, okay,
I'm from
all right.
Boston, Massachusetts.
that's all right,
so, like,
man.
we are very salty.
Yeah.
But we also care, right?
Right,
So,
right.
like, I mean,
Passion.
you know, yeah,
That's what that
absolutely.
is.
You know, we want everybody to succeed. At the end of the day, my day is I'm a customer service guy, right?
Right.
I mean, players, coaches, athletes, athletic directors. I got people that I got to make sure that they're happy, right? At
Yep.
the end of the day, I'm a servant leader, and I want to make sure that everybody. I'm a people pleaser as well.
Yeah.
Which is a benefit and not a benefit. I mean, as
Well,
you
it
asked
pleased me, man, for you to come over and hang out with us. We're unfortunately right up against a break here. Gary Montier, man.
All right, I appreciate you.
You were a little nervous about it, but you crushed it, man.
Yeah,
you,
well,
you hit it
know,
out of
I
the
mean,
park.
my wife helped
The
me
guy
out,
from
you know.
Boston, what do you expect? Got
Yeah.
the Johnny, got Pesky's pole right down
Yeah.
the right field line, right?
Hey,
right, Colin?
yeah,
Colin's
my-
a New England guy.
Yeah, my wife kind of built
Right.
me up. She made me a rock star.
Right.
So
Well, you crushed it, man.
All
Gary
right, thanks.
Montier, who, of course, takes care of all the equipment at the Citadel and is over all of that. I mean, you see a cool uniform combo. Gary's got a direct hand in that stuff, at least somewhere along the chain.
just don't ask for anything.
That's right. We will dive into a break here. Our last one will come back. Coach Drayton will come back up here, and we'll set the scene for this ETSU game, the regular season, the season finale for the Dogs. Back with more after this on the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. And we're back, final segment, Beyond the Barracks. Brian Giffen, along with, multiple Citadel folks. Coach Drayton will be back over here in a moment, and we'll set the scene for this game at East Tennessee State on Saturday, which will wrap the 2025 season for the Dogs, where, of course, they take on ETSU, and that will happen in Johnson City. So going to have to go on the road, a place that they have won in the conference earlier this season, as Zane and Greg and I were talking about. Coach Drayton comes back now. Look, the challenge is right in front of you. It's supreme. But, winning games on the road in the conference is something you've done this year more than once.
Yes, sir, and you're right about that. It is a supreme challenge. ETSU is a very, very, very well-coached team. They're fundamentally sound. They're schematically sound. So we need to come into this week with discipline, detail, and a commitment to executing our blue-collar identity for 4 quarters and send our seniors off the right way.
Right, and I mean, honestly, a lot of those seniors have been such foundational guys as you've kind of gone along in this from the first year you got here. And I would think the urgency this week might be greater than ever for that very reason, just because you got this core of guys that have been there and have been the rocks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And, you know, tomorrow when we have our first team meeting of the week, when I get a chance to look into their eyes, that will tell the story. Because as I saw my team today and yesterday, they're still hurting. That Wofford, man, that took a lot out of us. It was tough on those seniors. You know, I feel so bad for Chris Iverson. I mean, oh, my goodness.
Right.
He cried and cried and cried and cried. And, you know, as the leader of the group, I wish I could do something for him to fix it, because I genuinely like my guys. I genuinely care for my guys, and, you know, to the point where I love them. So, you know, I want this win for them more than than you could imagine.
Well, and to be honest, I mean, I think that's the best way. Everybody has their own approach and all this stuff, but I always thought that was the best way. When you have a tremendous amount of passion for the people you're coaching and everything, the school, the whole 9 yards, I mean, it's hard to – all the other things you get out of it are important, necessary, and cool and awesome and all that stuff, but I think that's what you do it for.
No, that's exactly why you do it. You do it for that, and I do know this. We're not going to be the biggest, fastest, strongest. We're not going to be the most talented. So that's why we have to rely on the passion.
Right.
That's why we have to rely on the emotions. That's why we have to rely on those intrinsic factors that – you know, that's not measurable in a weight room or on a height scale or a weight scale. So we're going to stay after it. We're going to keep doing the right things. And, man, let's find a way to get a win for these seniors.
Let's talk about ETSU a little bit now. We started on it, just touched on it in the first segment, but really left it for this one. Obviously, they're playing their best football right now. They hung up a 50-burger on Western Carolina last week.
50 points.
Yeah, 50-plus, right?
Yes,
52,
50-plus, you're right.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're in their place, and obviously they're trying to finish strong, and they've had their moments during the year where they faltered a little bit too, but now they seem to have righted their ship and are really heading in the right direction. Yeah,
they're heading in the right direction, and I mentioned earlier Will Healy. He's a good head coach. He's been a head coach at 2 previous institutions, one being an FBS school. He does a good job. He understands today's athletes, and he gets the most out of them. They're a run game coordinator, Patrick Covington, was our offensive coordinator for 2 seasons. He knows the inner workings of our program. Pat and I worked together years ago at Coastal Carolina. Right. So he knows, like, the intricacies about me. He knows when I catch a feeling, hey, we're going to have a fake punt right now on this 4th down, like, because we've been together and we've been in battles. So that's going to – you know, I got to think about that as we make play calls and make certain calls. Chad Staggs, their defensive coordinator, this guy is the real deal. We've had many battles together. When he was at Charleston Southern, when he was at Coastal with Jamie Chadwell, who happens to be a graduate of ETSU. This is like fighting your brother.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes
Zane went there too, right?
Exactly.
So,
and he has a son that coaches the wide receivers there. So this is a old school Hatfield and McCoy contest that we're going to have on Saturday.
Jay gave me this nugget earlier, but it's the only 2 SoCon teams that average over 200 rush yards per game. So no secret, I think, what either side is going to want to do effectively. And then after that, it's all the rest of it.
That's right. You better show up on time because that clock's rolling.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those games that hopefully, you know, it all comes down to coming out of the locker room and getting after them, I guess.
Yeah, possessions are key. So we're going to dig in our bag of tricks. We're going to find a way to get these guys motivated to come out with their hair on fire. I worked for Chuck Bogano for 2 seasons, and he would always say, when you wake up in the morning, this is game day, when you wake up in the morning, you got to snort coffee grinds. And I was like, what? What are we talking about? So his whole thing was, get that caffeine in your system right now, because you don't have time to wait and let it go through your bloodstream through drinking it. So I said, okay, I got you.
Yeah, Chuck was quite a character.
Yeah.
Really
He's a good man.
Yeah,
good,
he's still around too, and thankfully doing well.
Yeah, well, what he does, he goes on Pat McAfee's show.
Right.
Yeah, once a week.
I coached him too.
Yeah, I did. I coached Pat, and Gary. Speaking of that, Gary had this great idea. Hey, let's send Pat McAfee a gift box, sort of what we did with John Gruden. And so we're waiting for Pat to put it on his show.
Well, you know him too, man.
Oh yeah,
you coached him up. So
yeah.
But so East Tennessee State. What are the challenges they provide you? We got about 3 minutes here. What are the challenges that are the biggest ones you'll have to overcome?
So they have 2 quarterbacks that can do it. Very similar to us as far as having 2 quarterbacks, but their quarterbacks can run and throw at a high level, and they exchange them, and they don't miss a beat when they play those 2 quarterbacks. Their rushing game is superior. They have some really good running backs, and you said it earlier. They're rushing for over 200 yards
and they're
a game.
Big, powerful, thick guys
big,
too, right?
powerful, thick guys. Long, thick, strong. So our defensive linemen, we have to be real good. Against those guys. If we can find a way to try to, because you can't stop them, but find a way to corral them. That'll give us a chance to come out on top. And then special teams, we have to win the special teams battle. If you win the special teams battle, you have a chance at winning this game.
I think the other thing is finish. Finish is one word, and I know you've probably exhausted yourself saying it, but finish. You get short fields, you got to go finish. Or create them and then finish.
You're right. Start fast, win the middle 8, finish. Though, if you do those 3 things in football, in today's football, you have a chance to win.
Hey, I want to take the opportunity, and obviously I'll talk to you some more as we go along during the week as we get ready for this game. But here on Beyond the Barracks, I want to say thanks for everything because we've had a blast doing this. This is, I guess, the last one until we'll do one after the first of the year or something. Moving. Jay said there might be a couple of things we would do in December, but the last one of these weekly ones, and want to say thanks.
No,
for
I
that.
love it, and thank you to those that come out every week. We thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's so good to see you. It's like
a family, man, on Monday.
Yeah,
it's our
you're
Monday
right. It's our Monday family. It's almost like Cheers.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if we're not here next Monday, let's give them a reason to be here and celebrate Victory Monday.
I like this. You know what? We win this ball game. Let's have a Victory Monday. Am I allowed to say this? Drinks on me.
I'm here.
All right, let's do it. Only for the people that's in attendance tonight.
Right. I'm looking around here. Get your phone out. Take a couple pictures. Right.
I got you.
All right. Coach, thanks a whole bunch. We'll see you later in the week as we get ready to head to Johnson City. And that should about wrap us for Beyond the Barracks tonight. I want to say thanks to Terry Bass, who does so much at our Kirkman Broadcasting Studios for running the show tonight. Also want to say thanks to our friends here at Over the Horizon Brewing, who they're part of that Monday family too. And I want to say thanks to everybody who's here. We've had a great time doing this, and we will look forward to, bringing you Basketball Wednesday.
Yes,
and then
Basketball
football
Wednesday.
on Saturday.
I like it.
That'll do it for Beyond the Barracks. Thanks again. We will talk to you soon. Good night, and go Dogs.